أهلا بكم الصف الثاني الإعدادي. النهاردة بقدم لكم مادة الساينس تحت رعاية وإشراف وزارة التربية والتعليم. Let's start together lesson 1, attempts of elements classification. طيب, let's freshen up together about some informations we took in first prep. As we see together here that the revision on substances and types of elements and their electronic configuration. We took last year that substances are divided into elements, which are substances that consist of similar atoms like oxygen and oxygen, nitrogen and nitrogen. And also we have compounds, which are substances that consist of one or more different atoms. So the difference here between the two types of substances, that elements have similar atoms like nitrogen and nitrogen, while compounds have different atoms like H2O, for example, it is represents water, CO2, which represents carbon dioxide, and NH3, which is ammonia. Type. Let's move on. We took types of elements last year. There are 4 types of elements as we took in first prep. The first type was metals. And metals, their outermost energy level consists of less than 4 electrons. As we remember, you see here, less than 4 electrons. When we make electronic configuration, and I will show it to you later on, if we make an electronic configuration for an element, the last energy level contains electrons. It might be 1 or 2 or 3. So if it's less than 1 or than 4, then it's considered a metal. Number 2, we have non-metals. وخدنا last year in non-metals, they are elements that have 5 or 6 or 7 electrons in their outermost energy level. يعني آخر energy level consists of 5, 6 or 7 electrons, as we see in our definition. For example, oxygen. Oxygen, its atomic number is 8. So when I distribute their electrons on the energy levels, هلاقي إن هي 2, 6. ف 6 electrons in the outermost energy level, this means that it is a non-metal. Let's move on. طيب, خدنا النوبل gases last year. Noble gases, قلنا عليهم دول تنكين. They are unique. They are special. They have saturated energy level. What's meant by saturated? لما اجي اقول saturated يعني the energy level is filled with electrons, contains for example 8 electrons in its outermost energy level. بس في حاجة هنا، احنا عندنا مستر هيليوم اللي هو ده helium. Helium has only 2 electrons, and the 2 electrons are saturated في the first energy level. This means that it's also a noble gas. So أنا لما أجي say what's meant by noble gases ما ينفعش أقول they are elements that contain 8 electrons in their outermost energy level. لا, I must say the word saturated. طب why? Because helium has 2 electrons, which is the saturated energy level number 1. And I will show it to you later on. طيب, let's move on. Semi-metals. We took last year that there are metals, non-metals, noble gases, and semi-metals. As we took last year that دايما يقول لك they are 4 electrons in their outermost energy level. The real definition today, this year in second prep, we're going to say that semi-metals are metalloids. We're going to give them another terminology, which is metalloids. طيب, what's meant by metalloids? إيه معنى metalloids? Metalloids, they are elements that carry both properties. They have both properties of metals and non-metals. That's why we consider them semi-metals, because لا هم محصلين metals ولا non-metals. They have properties of metals and non-metals, the both together. طيب, زي مين؟ زي boron, silicon, as we see in the example here, boron, silicon, arsenic, and trillium. They are 4 semi-metals. طيب, in second prep هل هندي الابريفيشن semi-metal؟ لا خلاص, هنقول عليهم metalloids. So they are elements that have or carry both properties of metals and non-metals. طيب, let's move on. As we took last year, the electronic configuration. Let's freshen up. What is an electronic configuration? If I have an element X, for example, sodium, hydrogen, helium, we have 118 elements discovered till now. طيب elements دي ليها two important numbers. كان في number written above كنا بنكتبه فوق element و number تاني بنكتبه under the element. So let's see together what is meant by these terminologies. Let's look here. تعالوا نشوف what's meant by electronic configuration. For example, if I took sodium, for example, sodium is written like this, Na, okay? There's always a number written above the element, 23 for example, and its atomic number is 11. But what does this number represent? This number represents the atomic mass, as we took last year, which was the mass number, which represents the number of neutrons and protons together, while 11 represents the atomic number, which represents what? The number can be مثل لنا the number of electrons or the number of protons. تمام؟ طيب والatomic mass اتفقنا ان ده number of neutrons اللي هو neutral neutrons والpositive charges protons, the sum together. طيب let's see our presentation. We took now that sodium and any element has two numbers, one written above one written downwards. طيب اللي تحت ده دايما الatomic number and the above one is the atomic weight. طيب why are elements classified? Until now the elements are now, according to the updates, they are 118 elements discovered till now. طيب why are elements classified? The word classified means divided, organized. زي مثلا when we enter a supermarket or a library وانت دخلت supermarket وعايز تشتري bar of chocolate and a type of bar of chocolate. For example, you like Galaxy, for example. Okay? You enter the supermarket to the partition of the chocolates and then you choose the chocolate whatever you want. Why? Because the supermarket is organized. في partitions للchocolates, partitions للbakery, للgrocery, and for the rice and macaroni and whatever. طيب نفس الكلام ده chemists tried to do it in chemistry. According to the elements that they discovered, they wanted to organize the elements, to classify them. طب according to what? According to their physical and chemical properties. يجي سؤال مهم يقول لي why scientists thought about classifying elements? Number one, they preferred to classify them. طب why? Because to facilitate their study, to make their study more easier. أنا عندي elements كتيرة جدا, they have chemical and physical properties. عايز إن أنا أفهم كل element فيه إيه وبيحتوي على إيه والproperties بتاعته إيه, سواء الchemical properties ولا الphysical. طب هل في elements related to each other, have similar properties ولا لأ, can be grouped together or not. يبقى number one, to facilitate the study and to make the studying more easier. Number two, to find the relationship between the elements and their chemical and physical properties. As we said, إن هم يبقوا شبه بعض مش شبه بعض, في difference ما فيش difference, and so on. Our lesson today, we're going to discuss about a very important scientist غير تاريخ الchemistry in our life. الساينس ده كان وقتها في ال 18th century وكان اسمه ديمتري مندليف. ديمتري مندليف ده دخل عالم الكيمستري وكان very crazy about chemist and he was a professor. At that time كان في 67 elements discovered at that time. طب عمل ايه مندليف؟ وايه كان الادفانتج بتاعه؟ وايه الديس ادفانتجز اللي قدمها مندليف في الشغل بتاعه، ايه اللي كان جود وايه اللي كان باد، وايه كمان موضوع الايزوتوبس وعمل ايه مندليف في dealing with these types of elements. طيب تعالوا نشوف. Mendeleev number 1 he had to deal with 67 elements. He had to deal with 67 elements were known at that time. كان وقتها مفروض ان هو يقدم ويلستريت 67 elements. طب Mendeleev he arranged these elements. How did he arrange it? Let's see together. He started to arrange 67 elements that were known in the 18th century. He started to bring cards. لأن كان مندليف poker man. He loved playing cards. He loved playing with his friends. جاب 67 cards and wrote on each card the name of the element, for example sodium. وقتها كان الاتوميك ويت هو اللي كان مكتشف only. ما كانش وقتها لسه الاتوميك نمبر wasn't discovered. ما كانش لسه اكتشفوا الاتوميك نمبر. طيب عمل ايه بقى؟ بدأ يرتب ال 67 elements دول from left to right according to the atomic weight not their atomic mass. طيب بعد كده وهو بيرتبهم لقى نفسه عمل تيبل، كون تيبل. اوكي سماها وقتها the first periodic table. The first periodic table contains 67 elements. They were arranged from left to right according to their atomic weight. According to their atomic weight. طيب here Mendeleev he arranged the 67 elements and he classified his table into groups, group A and group B. طيب كان مندليف وقتها في ال 18th century وحصل تغيير تام خالص في حياة الكيمستس لأن وقتها كانت الاليمنتس specified و classified و organized according to his table, to his periodic table. طيب بعد كده let's see what is Mendeleev's first periodic table. ده كان أول periodic table أنشئ في تاريخ ال 18th century وكان عمله مندليف وكان اتفقنا ان هو كان he was dealing with 67 elements and he arranged them from left to right ascendingly according to their atomic number? No, according to their atomic weight. طيب لما مندليف كون التيبل بتاعه لاحظ ان التيبل ده كان فيه advantages وكان فيه disadvantages. طب تعالوا مع بعض نشوف ايه هي الادفانتجز of Mendeleev's periodic table. Number 1 لما شاف التيبل بتاعه he ran to his friends كان فرحان بيه جدا قال لهم look at my periodic table. طب سماه لي كلمة periodic. كلمة periodic means repeated. Why? Because Mendeleev discovered when he arranged the elements from left to right that the properties of the elements were repeated. كانت بتتكرر البروبرتيز every period. طب الله هو سمى كده الهوريزونتال روز as a period؟ Yes. Mendeleev after he finished the table لاحظ ان هو ليه vertical columns. Okay? From top to bottom. لاحظ ان في vertical columns ولاحظ كمان ان في horizontal rows. طيب سمى ايه مندليف الهوريزونتال روز؟ سماهم periods. وسمى ايه الفيرتيكال كولمز؟ سماهم جروبس. اوكي طب سماهم ليه جروبس؟ وانت في الكلاس بتاعك تيتشر بتدخل عليك تقول لك يا جماعه النهارده we are going to work in groups. جروب A جمعوا نفسكم تلاقوا مثلا 5 or 6 عملوا جروب و5 or 6 تانيين عملوا جروب B and so on. طب ليه؟ الجروب ده بيبقى having related properties like chemical and physical properties. طيب for example the first group they have similar properties. فلاحظ مندليف in every period begins with a strong metal and ends with a strong non-metal. That's why he said it is a periodic table because the properties are repeated every period not every group. ما يجي لي سؤال ويقول لي the properties of the elements in Mendeleev's periodic table was repeated every group. No, this is totally wrong. It is every period. طيب تاني حاجة Mendeleev left spaces in his table. طب هل التيبل دي أنا بحفظها بذاكرها؟ لا، it's just for illustration. بوريك بس Mendeleev عمل إيه once he created his periodic table. طيب he left spaces ليه؟ Because he predicted the discovery of new elements. هو قال إن أكيد هيجي بعدية scientists كتير هيكتشفوا new elements هيحطوا الاتوميك ويت بتاعهم في الامتي سبيسز دول اللي ما كانش لسه discovered. يبقى number 1 Mendeleev left spaces and left gaps in his periodic table in order because he predicted the discovery of new elements in the future. طب عمل ايه تاني؟ He had to place more than one element in the same space. طب why؟ هل تفتكر ده advantage ولا disadvantage؟ This is totally a disadvantage. طب ليه؟ Because he had to deal with something called isotopes. And we will know what's meant by isotopes later on. طيب, let's see. يبقى, how did Mendeleev classify his elements? Let's sum up اللي احنا قلناه ده. He arranged the similar elements according to their chemical and physical properties in vertical columns called groups. Excellent. And he arranged the elements ascendingly from left to right according to the atomic weight in horizontal rows called periods. Then number 3, the properties of the elements, he discovered that they were repeated every period أو the beginning of every period. نشوف بقى الادفانتجز اللي احنا قلناها. He left spaces and gaps in his table because he predicted the discovery of a new element with a very important question. Why did Mendeleev leave spaces in his table? So it is very easy now, we can answer it. He corrected the atomic weight of some elements. كان وقتها في atomic weights كانوا النمبر مكتوب by mistake فهي corrected some atomic weights. Disadvantage. طيب قلنا disadvantage number 1 that he had to make disturbance in his ascending order. Why? Because he had to put them in groups to suit their properties. طيب number 2 he had to deal with the isotopes. Okay, that's why he had to put more than one element in the same space. Because why? Because they had different atomic weights. طيب تعالوا نشوف what happened in 19th century. جاء ثلاثة scientists. كان أول واحد موزلي وكان راذرفورد وكان بور. وفي ال 19th century كان وقتها الاتوميك نمبر بدأ إن هو يعرفوا ده إن في للإليمنت اتوميك نمبر، ده في نمبر تاني مهم جدا للإليمنت. طيب اللي هو كان مين؟ الاتوميك نمبر. طب مين اللي اكتشف الكلام ده؟ كان موزلي وراذرفورد. تعالوا نشوف موزلي عمل ايه وراذرفورد اكتشف ايه وبور اكتشف ايه. Let's start with Moseley. Moseley in the 19th century كان وقتها الاتوميك نمبر discovered واحنا عارفين ان الاتوميك نمبر represents the number of electrons. قال لك ان الاتوميك نمبر is the most important number of the element and we must arrange it according to the atomic number. Arrange what يا موزلي؟ قال لك المودرن periodic table. طيب هل ده هو مندليفز periodic table؟ يس، بس كان modified، بقى modified، حصل فيه changes. طب ايه التشينجز اللي حصلت دي؟ موزلي وقتها قال انا همشي على نفس خطى مندليف، لكن I will rearrange the elements according to their atomic number, not to their atomic weight. So what did Moseley do? He arranged the elements according to the atomic number from left to right ascendingly, not to their atomic weight. طيب وقتها كانوا اكتشفوا النوبل جازز. النوبل جازز قال لك ده انا هسميهم الزيرو جروب. طب ليه اسميه الزيرو جروب؟ Because they have zero valency. And he added it on the left side of the modern periodic table. And also he located a place below for the lanthanides and actinides. And they are certain types of elements, and we will look at the modern periodic table and figure out what's meant by lanthanides and actinides further on. طيب بعد ومع موزلي ساعدوا 2 علماء كان راذرفورد وبور. راذرفورد كان وقتها اكتشف ان النيوكليوس of the atom consists of positive charges called protons as we took in first prep. we have protons in our nucleus. طب مين اللي اكتشف ان النيوكليوس فيها بروتونز؟ كان راذرفورد. وكان بور اكتشف ان الانرجي ليفلز contain 7 energy levels. We have 7 energy levels around orbiting around the nucleus of the atom. طيب the modern periodic table scientists discovered. تعالوا بقى نسم up الموضوع ده مع بعض ونسم الليسن بتاعنا on our screen. طيب النهارده خدنا مندليف، وعرفنا ان مندليف كان ساينتست في ال 18th century، وكان مندليف بيديل with 67 elements, arrange them from left to right according to their atomic weight, not to their atomic number. He left spaces in his table and he had to deal with the isotopes. طيب تاني حاجة، مندليف when he left spaces he left his periodic table in the life of chemistry. جاب بعديه موزلي ورذرفورد وبور، ودول كانوا 3 scientists شاركوا مع بعض في تكوين المودرن periodic table. وقتها كان المودرن periodic table وصل عدد الاليمنتس ل 118 element. وكان وقتها كمان راذرفورد كان اكتشف ان النيوكليوس contains positive protons، وبور كان اكتشف ان الاتوم contains 7 energy levels. فاخد الكلام ده موزلي منهم وقال لك لا، ده انا لازم اعمل ري ارينجمنت للمودرن periodic table او مندليف's periodic table و rearrange them according to their atomic number, not to their atomic weight. And he did 2 important steps بعد كده. He added the zero group on the right side of the modern periodic table and also added and located a place below for the lanthanides and actinides. طيب الفور ساينتستس دول عملوا تغيير كامل جدا في العالم الكيمستري، غيروا تاريخ الكيمستري. طب تعالوا تقول لي طب احنا هنستفيد بايه المودرن بيريودك تيبل ده احنا بنعمل بيه ايه؟ This is like a catalog. ده كتالوج الكيمستري، ده عباره عن المنيو اللي بتكشف لي الاليمنتس وتكوينها والكيميكال والفيزيكال بروبرتيز بتاعتها، واي اليمنت انا محتاجه في الساينس ريسيرش بتاعي، او لو انا بحضر اي ساينتفك ريسيرش. الكتالوج ده المودرن periodic table ده is a very very important and helps the scientists in their research and their scientific life. طيب المودرن periodic table scientists discovered that the main energy levels contain an energy sub-level. طب ايه يعني ايه الكلام ده؟ قال لك ان كل energy level عنده السب-level بتاعه. بمعنى الانرجي levels in first prep كانوا عبارة عن K L M N O P 7 energy levels. كل energy level ليه السب-level بتاعه. زي الفايل، لو انا بعمل فايل على الكمبيوتر فانا ليه sub-file inside. So every energy level contains a sub-energy level. طيب ايه هما الليترز اللي اطلقوها العلماء على الانرجي السب-energy levels؟ كان S, P, D and F. طيب المودرن periodic table انا قسمت الاليمنتس and classified my elements according to E. Number 1 اتفقنا ان هو according to the atomic number. Number 2 the way of filling the energy sub-levels with electrons. بمعنى هل انت عليك تعرف ايه هو الميكانيزم ازاي بيحصل فيلينج للالكترونز في الانرجي سب ليفلز؟ لا، انت عليك تعرف ان المودرن periodic table كان classified according to the atomic number and the way the energy levels or the energy sub levels were filled with electrons. This is our lesson for today, and thank you for watching and listening. Please watch it again very carefully, and we will continue next time. Thank you.